Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, James Harden, and Russell Westbrook lead the Los Angeles Clippers, and things have been very rough this season. This organization has been in pursuit of their first NBA championship for years now, for the most part led by just Leonard and George. They have been good, but injuries have derailed any chance of them being the last team standing. Russell Westbrook joined the team last season. Now, with the addition of James Harden, their offense has changed drastically for the worst. In this video, I'll be talking about how their offense has transformed over the years and how the addition of Harden has hurt this team's goal of winning it all more than it has helped it. After their 8th seeded finish and loss to the KD and Steph led Golden State Warriors in 2019, the LA Clippers made two huge moves to propel themselves into the championship conversation, bringing in Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, and these are two of the best scorers at the forward position in NBA history. Leonard could score on all three levels, shooting an impressive percentage from deep for his career, and having the upper body strength to move guys and score down low. But he thrives even more in the mid range, and it is near impossible to stop him in this zone, showcasing his elite ability multiple times in the playoffs. PG 13 has always been one of the smoothest players in the association, being able to handle the ball at an elite level and shoot effortlessly at about 6'9". He is also able to attack defenses in a number of ways similar to Kawhi, and is pretty much unstoppable when he gets hot. This duo has been really good. Their scoring and defensive capabilities have helped the team to the top of the league, with the Clippers showing a very high win percentage when both play. But that's the thing, they barely play, and they've both been injured in so many key moments for this team. I'm hoping this season is different. Their untimely absences have been the number one reason this squad has yet to win a championship. Looking to finally earn the Larry O'Brien Trophy in this duo's fourth season together, the front office decided it was time to bring in some new additions and liven up the roster. After starting 33 and 28, the Clippers signed Russell Westbrook, and he was great for them in the last 21 games of the 2023 season. His numbers were good, and the eye test says he was great as well. Even at 34, 35 years old, Westbrook still has a great step and explosiveness, and he sped this Clippers team up, helping them in transition, being a good pick and roll distributor, and making sure PG and Kawhi were able to stay in rhythm, along with his usual contagious hustle and drive. The Clippers also acquired players like Mason Plumlee, Eric Gordon, and Bones Highland at the trade deadline last season, but Brody was, of course, the most impactful. In 61 games before Westbrook, the team was 24th in possessions per game and 25th in assists, being one of the slower teams and one of the worst passing teams. In the 21 games after trading for Westbrook, they shot up to 12th in possessions per game and 11th in assists per game. This left the Clippers with two very high-end half-court scorers and a point guard who can push the pace, along with their other key contributors like Terrence Mann, Norman Powell, and Ivica Zubac. Unfortunately, Paul George was completely unavailable versus the Suns in round one in these past playoffs, and Kawhi Leonard suffered a meniscus injury a couple games into the series after starting hot. Westbrook was left fighting for LA as he had some very big performances and he competed defensively. This season, it was more of the same, with Leonard and George scoring at a high level, and Westbrook providing his playmaking, fast pace, and overall tenacity, and there seemed to be something to build on. But after sending out a number of their forwards, as well as some draft capital, the team brought in another Hall of Famer in James Harden, and things have gotten ugly with a record of 4 and 7 since the trade. Even at 34 years old, James Harden is still a high-level offensive player. He was 21 and 11 in 58 games for the Philadelphia 76ers last season, averaging the most assists per game across the league. Harden thrives in the pick and roll and in heavy isolation. His game is very slow, and he likes to take his time to get exactly what and where he wants, whether that be to the line, a step back three, a floater or a mid range or a pocket pass to his big man. He usually ends up getting what he wants. Harden is aware of his ball dominant nature, saying that he's not a system player, but he is the system itself in his first moments with the Clippers organization. And for a team that already had three other ball dominant players, this has caused some issues. The LA Clippers were already a heavy ISO team. They sat at 6th in isolation frequency and isolation possessions per game across 82 games last season. Leonard and George like to be able to catch the ball, take their time, and oversee the defense. Like I said, the Clippers were bottom 6 in possessions per game last season before bringing in Westbrook, and they did not look to push the pace. This could work with two heavy ISO players, and Westbrook is of course ball dominant as well, but he can operate in other ways on the court to allow these forwards to do what they need to. But bringing in the guy who was number 5 in total isolation possessions among players last season seemed to be a lot, and it has been. The Clippers' Big Four have played like a cluster of individuals rather than a team in their time together. George, Leonard, and Harden like to find their rhythm in the half court, just all in different ways. And this has caused the team to be very turn based, with none of these guys finding any consistent rhythm. Leonard and Westbrook have been affected the most by the Harden acquisition. Leonard's numbers have dropped, and he has definitely had trouble getting himself going. With Harden initiating so much of the offense, Leonard having less time to operate in the post, for example, I believe has really thrown him off. This should be a big focus going forward, with Kawhi as your best player, making sure he's comfortable and settled in early and can get to his spots. And he has seemed to be an afterthought at times, as the offense has become much more cumbersome. There is a lot to figure out when it comes to balancing these talents and their touches. Westbrook started the season putting up similar stats to his time with the Clippers last year, but it has really struggled since. He continued to start in the first number of games after the trade, but then requested to come off the bench in an attempt to help unmuck the offense. Paul George has been the best player for the Clippers this season, seeming to be less affected by the Harden trade, and he's been their main option in the midst of this mess. But this team is still nowhere near gelled. It has only been 11 games with this new look team, and there's obvious room to grow. In their most recent win versus Dallas, right out the gate they played much faster and more decisively. Terrence Mann helped their pace with his obvious best game of the season. The team attacked right away at the rim and in transition. They have played extremely slow and lethargic without much game plan, so hopefully they learn from this. Westbrook was much better than he has been, as he was fighting for rebounds and bringing the energy we are used to. Newer addition Daniel Tice showed his value in a number of ways. This was good to see. Playing with more speed definitely helped his squad, but Leonard and Harden still struggled. On Monday, the Clips lost one to the Denver Nuggets without Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, or Aaron Gordon. Leonard got into a better rhythm. He shot poorly overall, but looked more comfortable in parts. And naturally, that means PG had an off game, shooting just 2 for 13. I think this was just a bad game for Paul George. He got a lot of looks he usually makes, but he was just missing. Harden had a similar outing to his recent games, as he has been trying to find his place and a balance with his team, as he only took 7 shots. Westbrook was pretty good off the bench. This video isn't about their defense, but they defended very poorly overall versus Denver, and they were outscored by 20 points in the fourth quarter. Although there were some better things going on in the game against Dallas, for example, this team is still obviously struggling pretty badly to find their chemistry. They have won 4 of their last 6, but this team has yet to find a game where all their main 4 guys are playing at their best. You could look at this team again 11 games into this very new situation and take an optimistic viewpoint about how they have a lot of time to figure this out, but I'm curious if they will ever truly have a consistent game plan. Game to game, will they know what they want to do and how to get the most out of their players? And will their players want to adapt to make this work? Is that just Harden going full point guard and allowing Leonard and George their space to score? I don't think Harden wants to do that. He is the system and doesn't want to be restricted to one role. So Tyronn Lue and his coaching staff have a lot on their plates, and I'm very interested to see if they can figure out an effective, consistent offensive game plan. But I do have my doubts. Ty Lue said he takes full responsibility for the way the offense looked versus the Nuggets, but the truth is, this mess has been a team effort. So far, it has been a pretty unimpressive showing from this coaching staff and these players, after they brought in another high level offensive player on top of the talent they already had. What do you think? Do you think this Clippers team still has potential? Should they have never traded for the beard in the first place and just kept their depth? Clippers fans, how are you feeling? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching. This has been Rashad with Hoops Times 2. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. See you guys next time. Peace out.